Great Power 60 here. Welcome to Tea with Me Tuesday. I sure missed you guys last week. Oh, hot. I just made my tea. So, let me think now. Mom's birthday was great. Her memory is obviously going, and I have to remind her every once in a while. I had balloons in here for her birthday. I had 3 balloons, and she would ask what they're for, and then I would tell her, and then I'd have to remind her again who put those there, and then she'd think about it, and then the next day she would say, "Oh, was that for me?" Poor mom, you know. Um, but she's been in a good mood. She's been eating well, and things are going great. I was feeling a little off. I'm starting to feel a little bit better. A lot of people around us with colds and flus and all kinds of stuff. So, you know, um, we try and sort of stay away from anyone who's sick and try and keep mom away from them. She has a doctor's appointment, and as you know, I'm taping this early, so that way we'll have it up for Tuesday. And you know what I was thinking? I was watching TV, which I don't do very often. All of the movies that are coming out, everything that's on TV, I know it's getting close to Halloween, but everything is gore and blood and guts and hate and superpowers, which is really imagination because let's face it, nobody has superpowers. And there's no real good movies on. Like, what's going on in Hollywood? And it kind of infects everyone. These horrible movies. I mean, the superhero always wins, but I mean, there's no such thing as superheroes. And yes, it's nice to fantasize, but whatever happened to some good family movies? What happened to comedy and romance and trying to make life softer instead of harder? And I just feel bad for people growing up right now. The influences of all this killing and anger and zombies and you know um, that's not my perception of life. And I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I just find that there's so much bringing you down, and the only way you can feel better is to have a superhero come in and save the day. And there are no such things as superheroes, with super strengths and superpowers and all of these things. I mean, it's great to have imagination. It's great to have things to hope for, but there is no way that anyone is ever going to have super strength, um, the power to, having like being a witch and the power to, throw a spell on someone. There's no such thing, and I just worry that whole black cloud that is over the movie industry right now, the black cloud. It's not a gray cloud, it's not a little rain cloud, it's a black cloud. And the movies coming out are, I don't know, depressing, I find. I mean, totally my opinion here, guys. I know a lot of people like watching The Walking Dead. What's the purpose of that? They're dead. People don't walk again. you know, after, if you really want to see a decomposed body, it's disgusting. Um, anyway, um, I just, I guess I just don't understand it, and I'm glad I don't, and I'm glad I am not. I never liked horror films. I never liked scary things. I've never watched them, so I have no expectations of how somebody is going to come through my walls of my house and blast their way through my apartment. And, you know, I mean, insignificant, so why would they bother, right? You know, um, I don't know. I don't know. I wonder if that's what our parents thought when we started watching, you know, things like Star Wars and stuff like that. And how did their parents feel when, you know, the Beatles and the revolutions and the, you know, all of these things were going on? How did, you know, how did they feel about that? So I guess every generation has their, you know, what, shake their heads and say, you know, what are they thinking about this crazy, you know, movie industry today? But I don't know. I started watching there's some movies coming out that are just awful. Um, my personal opinion, of course, but they're so, the fantasy is too much. There's too much fantasy and not enough heartfelt kindness anywhere in the film industry. I don't find any, you know, true stories of heroes. Um, there's no there's no compassion. There's no empathy. There's no kindness, sweetness. You know, I mean, yes, I know life is not sweet and perfect and Father knows best and all of that stuff, but it could be. You could make your life what you want it to be. And um, wars and killings and scary stuff. It just, you know, I just shake my head and wonder, you know, I keep saying, you know, you know. I don't know if you know. I just feel sad that there isn't any feel good anything out there. And I guess that's why people gravitate to shows like Ellen who and Oprah and all of those shows who show the kindness and the goodness and rewarding kindness and goodness in people. And you know, you shouldn't have to be rewarded, but it's nice to see people being rewarded for being kind and being sweet and um and all of this. I just find that right now the air of our world is poisoned. I just feel that it is poisoned with anger, jealousy, um, power hungry, money hungry. Um, there's just so much of that, and so little is heard of the good works of people like Doctors Without Borders and, you know, volunteers that do work. And there's no stories of people overcoming tragedy and bring love and kindness to people. And well, maybe not tragedy. I wouldn't want, you know, but do you know what I mean? And I'm just wondering how many of you feel sort of the same way, that I miss things like the Golden Girls and laughing at, you know, life. shows that make you laugh. I purposely watch things um, that's going to make me smile and make me laugh. And I hate watching anything that is brutal and cruel and horrific. And it just seems to be too much. It just seems, and I'm just wondering how many of you feel the same way, that it's just too much negativity, too much horror, too much fantasy out there. Um, Movies are made as an escape, an escapism. Are there that many people in the world that really need that type of fantasy constantly over the years to to feel better? How can you feel better? I don't know. I don't I don't know, maybe it's just me. I hope that parents are teaching their children that that is fantasy, that Iron Man, Spider-Man, and all the rest of them are just someone's imagination put on the screen for actors to act out, but that it's not real, but it is somebody's imagination, and it's there for enjoyment. But I don't enjoy. I am. I'm just disappointed in Hollywood right now. Every time their movies come out, it's they're taking Harry Potter and twisting it into some sort of wizard franchise of some kind that they're monopolizing on the whole fantasy of witches and spells and all of those things. So they capitalize on that, and then they throw it into a mix and say, okay, how gory can we get this? How can we get them to sit at the edge of their seats and scream? You know, I don't know. I don't know. I just I miss some good, solid. Maybe I'm looking for some good Christian movies, some good um, storyline, something that gives you hope, something that gives you um, a chance to get that adrenaline down and not have it constantly pumping while you're watching movies where when you go to the theater, the music is so loud that you can't hear yourself think. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old, and I just don't enjoy some of these crazy movies that they have coming out. And I kind of wonder how you felt about it. How do you? It's just something that came up over the last couple of days. Every time I turned around, I kept seeing, advertising for this, monster movie, whatever's coming out, and the killing and the coming to life from the dead, and I don't know. It's like when you're dead, you're dead. I mean, there's no there's no body coming out of the ground unless you can fight through all of that, thick coffin that you were in. I, anyway, I don't know. I've never watched The Walking Dead. I've never watched any of those shows. I know a lot of people like it. I just, you know, I mean, I know there people watch the storyline. I just don't like the whole atmosphere. I don't like the whole, walking along one day and suddenly, the character finds out that their father was a superpower, and that if they look at something mad, it's going to explode and they can disappear. I don't know. Anyway, it just goes on and on and on. And I just get tired of it. The wizardry world has gone from the innocence of children to the madness of adults. And I just find it's sad. And I often wonder how many others feel that way. I just don't remember, and I'm trying to think. Please, in the comments below, let me know. Is there any good movies out there? I mean, good movies with a storyline that can be real, that can be realistic and not totally mashed with superpowers. I mean, is there anything out there that's real, that's honest, that's human? I don't know. And I am looking forward so much to they had the fall harvest love movies on, and then of course they've got, I think, 33 or something new Christmas love movies coming on, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to some sprinkle of romance and kindness and happiness. I don't know. Anyway, that's my thoughts for today, and that's what I had been thinking about over the last couple of days. That the movies are so outrageous and they just build upon each other, that there's no real stories out there. Stories of triumph and kindness and love, and there's no God anymore. There's no prayer anymore. There's no nothing anymore. I just wonder how many others feel the same way. I mean, like I say, I was tired tonight, but I saw something's coming out in November, a movie that is just like bang, bang, black. The movies are black and dark and sad and scary. Life doesn't have to be like that. And I'd like to see more stories of real life, stories of true bravery without the superpowers, stories of struggles and triumph without the magic of zapping somebody. Anyway, guys, I am sorry I brought this negative thing in, but it's just I would like to go to the theater and watch a movie, but there's nothing that thrills me. There's nothing that makes me want to go to the theater. And I'm trying to think of the last movie that I went to, and I'm sure it was with one of my grandsons, so it probably was something lighthearted and for kids, because there's nothing good out there. And if I'm wrong, name it. Put a comment down below. Let me know what movie is really, really good out there right now, that is exciting and worth my time. Maybe you can let me know what your favorite movie is. That would be really great. If you could put in the comments below, what was your favorite movie? Any time, lately, or when you were younger, or any time. Did you have a couple of favorite movies that you really liked watching? I'd like to know. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me today on my Tea with Me Tuesday. It was rather dark, but bombarded with darkness was just overwhelming. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, do the kids have any heroes to look up to anymore that are not Superman, that are not filled with magical powers? Do they have any one that they can say, I want to be when I grow up? They don't do that anymore, I don't think. I don't think. When me and my brother and friends and so on, when we were young, we had people that we wanted to look up to. There was, astronauts, and there was firemen, and there was police officers, and you know different different walks of life that you wanted to become. Now it's video games and superheroes and fantasy and no communication. That's sad. Really sad. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me on my Tea with Me Tuesday. Kind of a retrospect, I think, of what I've been watching on TV, and kind of sad. Kind of sad, I think. But that could be just me. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.